zeroes in on the escalating military showdown between Israel and Iran. We're seeing missiles flying across borders and threats of further retaliation and escalation getting louder and louder by the day. Palestinians in the occupied territories are once again caught in the crossfire, but this time, unfortunately, no one is watching. In the occupied West Bank, Israeli forces have imposed a full lockdown. There are iron gates, there's concrete barriers, and checkpoints have sealed off towns, villages, and refugee camps. Movement is paralyzed, aid is blocked, ambulances are delayed for hours, and families are forced out of their homes to make way for military positions. All this while Israel intensifies its bombing of Iran, but offers no protection or refuge to the millions of Palestinians it occupies. In fact, in cities like Jaffa, even access to bomb shelters is being denied to Palestinian families. And we heard earlier this morning, what happened where there was literally, I think, a family of four that have been wiped out because they were denied a bomb shelter. And yeah, we're going to be beginning today with this deeply troubling reality, a war between two states being waged above the heads of essentially stateless people. What does it say about the value of Palestinian lives in this geopolitical equation? Joining us now from Jerusalem to unpack this is Abeer Zayyad. She's a respected Palestinian archaeologist and an expert on Al-Aqsa Mosque, and she'll be giving us more insight on that lived reality of Palestinians in being occupied by the Israelis and the protection that is not being offered at this current moment. Abeer, Jazakallah so much for joining us. Really, really appreciate you giving us your time, and hope to have a really insightful and eye-opening conversation on a point that I think is not given much attention, looking at the greater scheme of things between Israel and Iran.
As beginning, there are different situations now, depending where you are living, and each area is facing different racing way from the Israeli. To start with, first of all, Gaza, the killing is continuous, but because of what is happening now with Iran, the media is not speaking about the starvation that is still continuous in Gaza, the killing that is still, the massacres, the what is happening in Gaza. No one is discussing now as much as they done before this war starts against Iran. The West Bank, before the war, Israel starts putting difficulty on people how to move from one area to another. But since the war starts, or they locked each village and each city, Palestine, inside their villages. So this has caused a huge problem that the people can't go to their works, the people can't go even to hospitals. So if you, for example, been in one village and you need hospital, there is no transportation, no ways to go. You need to go by foot. To go from one village to another. So this has caused a huge issues in these villages and in the cities, and also the supplies of food. It's when finished from one village or one city, you can't buy a new supplies with this situation. So people in the West Bank also if this continues, they will be starvation in West Bank very, very soon. And in the same time, Israel dealing with any rockets that are coming from Iran, they want to stop it. So they supposed to stop the rockets on the places that are empty. So in the program of the stopping the rockets, they consider all the Palestinian areas are empty. So they stop and drops the rockets on the Palestinian villages and cities on the West Bank, and also if it was in areas, for example, let's say Haifa or Tel Aviv, they consider the Palestinian villages, which is inside the occupied land, which they call it Israel, also they consider it empty. So, for example, now they stop one of the rockets in the top of a village called Baqa, Gharbiya, which is inside the area that is called Israel. that was occupied in 1948. So any place that is belong Palestinian, they consider it empty, and it's okay to stop the rockets on top of it. So it's, if it fall on these villages is not important, and already some of the Palestinians have lost their lives because of that.
Mm, mm, mm.
If
One thing
from
that's yes. One thing that's really, really, concerning for me is the issue of bomb shelters. We've seen images of, Israelis essentially being in these protected bunkers, in these protected bomb shelters. It seems like there's a lot of excess of them in a lot of, neighborhoods, and each and every house seems to have a bomb shelter. Is this the reality also for, Palestinian towns and villages? Is there access to bomb shelters? Are people directed to where bomb shelters are? Or, when the sirens wheel and those missiles coming from Iran make their way, the people of, Palestinian descent who are in these occupied territories essentially are left exposed. They are left to be the sacrificial lambs, so that, Israelis remain protected.
again, the shelters also have a different issue. The Palestinian villages, especially in the West Bank and in Jerusalem, most of it was built before 1967, and even the new building, there is no shelters in it at all. uh, Completely. In Jerusalem, they supposed to put shelters for Jerusalem people, like what they do for the Israeli. But even the Israeli who does not have shelters in their homes, they open for them specific shelters, which very close to their neighborhoods, and they do not open the same for the Palestinian. For the Palestinian, if you want to go to the closest shelter, it will take you more than a half hour at least, which is already the rocket will be falling. But it's not the only problem. Even if you was close to a shelter, the Israeli does not allow for anyone who is not Jew to enter to the shelter. It's not just against the Palestinian. You can't imagine. For example, the African people who are working in Israel, they do not allow for them to enter the shelter, especially the African, the black people, is not allowed for them to enter to the shelters. And this is caused that some of them had been killed in the last attack in Tel Aviv. Also, yesterday we have a video for the Thailand people from Thailand, also was kicked out because they was not Jew from the shelter. So even if there was a shelter in the place that you are in or close to it, they will not allow for anyone that are not Jew to enter to these shelters. It does not matter if you work for them. It does not matter even if you are not Muslims. It does not matter if you are not even Arabic guy. It's if you are not Jew. It does not matter which is your nationality, is not allowed for you to enter to the shelter. And this is a huge issue that are facing, and there is many videos for that. And if for in the during the Gaza time and during also the war with Lebanon, also especially the black worker, it was not allowed for them to enter to the shelters. And this is a huge issue that is happening in Tel Aviv. Most of the black people are working in Tel Aviv, and they do not allow for them at all to enter to the shelters. So the shelters exist only in the Israeli areas, in the Jewish areas mainly, and even if you was in that area as not Jews, will not allowed for you to enter. Some people, they own their own shelters in the land that was occupied in 1948, but this is not the case for the most of the Palestinian. Again, the main problem that also Israel is dealing with the Palestinian villages. It does not matter if they have Israel passports, Palestinian passports, or stateless like Jerusalem people. It does not matter their villages, their areas. They consider it empty, and they drop the bombs on top, the rockets on top of these villages. So this is what caused injuries between the Palestinian and also death in some cases. So the mentality of racism, mentality that we are not exist that our life does not matter. This is the issue. And if you've seen some of the videos for when the Palestinian was killed in one of the rockets, there's some videos when they are very, very happy with that, and they was clapping and happy that the Palestinian was killed. And also there is even that these Palestinians who was killed, they have Israel passport. And also there is another video for an Israeli guy. He was saying when the rocket attack hit his house, he said, "Why it's here? Why is not on the Arab villages?" And there is also when these African people was killed, the Israel on their website they were saying, "Oh, thank God that you are just an African people, is not from us." So this is just tell you how much they are racist. They does not care about other people, other nationality. It does not matter whom you are, which religion you are. If you are not from them, your life does not matter for them. This is the huge issue, the racism that, and sometimes I can't understand the workers who are coming from other country like Thailand or African country or whatever, why they are coming to just racist country that they do not care about their life at all. We are here because this is our land, our homeland that we are not leaving. Also, there was a lot of reports from Haaretz and other Israel media about that the Israeli, a lot of them want to run away and they start running away with boats. Anyway, the Israeli government is asking now to stop allowing for the Jewish to leave the country at all because they does not want them to run away. When there is a war, mainly the one who are not from the country, they will leave it. But if you are from the country, you will stick with it. And this is the main thing that most of the Israeli now is trying to run away from Palestine, the historical Palestine. And another thing that since the war started, they are doing another thing on the old city of Jerusalem. They closed the old city completely, and they do not allow for anyone to enter to the old city. And for a reason which we does not understand it, they close Al-Aqsa Mosque and they close also the Holy Sepulchre Church. And since the war, the Holy Sepulchre Church, Al-Aqsa Mosque is closed. It's the first time since the Corona the Aqsa is closed, and they are not allowed for anyone to enter to Al-Aqsa Mosque. And this is really a big problem that is happening for us.
Lastly, before I let you go, Abeer, just the sentiments from Palestinians as this war between Iran and Israel continues, and literally being caught in the crossfire. What's the sentiment on the ground? What are the people are saying? What are people feeling as this continues to unfold and is seemingly going to get out of the hand as many people are reporting it to?
Always our feeling is very mixed. From one hand, this is our country, and we are not leaving. We are in a dangerous situation. From the second hand, we would like the occupation to be end. So it's always a complicated feeling for us when anything happens here. Of course, we would not want to see anyone from any nationality to be killed, but also we does not want this occupation to continue, and we does not want this occupation to continue killing us and occupying our land. And you understand that Iran is not doing this because of the Palestinians. They are doing this because of they want to protect their own country and their own regime. But in the same time, for us, everything is very complicated that we can't. Each person is feeling in a different way, and again, for example, just now they are killing a couple of 10 people in Gaza, especially in Khan Yunis, for the people who was waiting for the aid, the humanity aid. So for us, it's very complicated feeling. This is our country. We does not like to have any. We does not want any more Palestinian to be killed. We does not want to see our country damaged. But in the same time, we would like this occupation to be finished.
And I think we're going to leave it on that note. Abeer, Jazakallah so much for joining us. And hopefully we catch up with you soon. And stay safe.
جزاكم الله خيرا.
Amir, that was Abeer Zayyad coming to us live from Jerusalem. And yeah, you can only imagine the lived realities of Palestinians in occupied territories. They're literally caught between a rock and a hard place. They're caught between missiles and military lockdowns and are essentially left exposed, as you heard from Abeer. No shelters, no escape, and no say in a war that's closing in on all sides. So it'll be really interesting to see how this one pans out. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, News and Views continues.